Hi, guys, and welcome back to Self Care for Black Girls, a podcast where we relax, sip tea, and chat about bettering ourselves as Black girls. I'm BB, and I'll be helping guide you to make better choices in your daily lives. So, I have come to the conclusion that I need to stop rambling in the beginning of these episodes. So, from now on, I'm going to try, unless I have special announcements, to, jump right into the video, to jump right into the episode after the intro. So today's episode is going to be about, it's for all my high school and college, and if there's any middle schools out there listening, this episode is for you. Anybody who's taking classes and is struggling, or they don't know what they need to do to stay on top of the grades, stay on top of their work, all of that stuff that comes with school. So I have some tips for you today. These tips I am not holding a gun up to your head and telling you to do these. These are just things that have helped me through my not really middle, high school years and my first year of college. So let's hop into the episode. All right, the first tip that I have for you guys is how to stay on top of your work. Well, not really how, is to just stay on top of your work. It can be hard. I understand. Trust me. My first semester, it was very rough. But you have to, if it requires you to, stop talking to people for a while and get your mind right and all that, just let them know that you are okay and that that's what you're doing, so they aren't like, oh my gosh, is he or she okay, all that. So just let them know that you're not, that you're not sick or anything, and that you're trying to get your work up, because if you can get everything turned in on time, at the end of the semester, you'll be happy because you won't have to spend as much time doing missing work that you missed earlier in the semester or the class if it's a year long. So it's hard as it can be at sometimes. Please stay on top of your work. It does pay off in the end. If you get a bad grade, don't stress over it. Yes, it can be hard. Coming from me, I promise you, it can be very hard. But if you get a bad grade on something, what you need to do is check with the teacher, or maybe you already know the teacher's redo policy. Check and make sure that you can, in fact, retake the test, even if it's for the highest you can get is a 90. Check to see if you can redo it, because that 90 will look better than the 50 or the 40 or whatever you made on the test. So, take some time. If the teacher allows it, make sure that you're studying harder than, if you studied hard the first time, kind of relax and then study. Don't stress yourself as much as you did the first time, because that might be why you didn't do as well on the test. So, study appropriately and go to do the retake as soon as possible. So, you won't have to see that bad grade sitting there that long. Because 9 times out of 10, if you have to go back and retake a test, the teacher will grade it faster than they did the original, simply because it's just you or maybe 6 or 7 other students that had to retake it, and it's not going to take them that long to grade it. So go see if you can retake those tests, and don't linger on a bad grade, because it can mess with you emotionally, mentally. So don't linger on them that long. Keep some good friends close to you. This sounds kind of weird considering this is a school video, but hear me out. If you surround yourself by fake people, or people that don't have a purpose in life, that they're just in high school to keep or if it's high school, they're just there to keep their parents from going to jail, or if they're in college and they're undeclared simply because they are undeclared, they aren't even trying to figure out what they want to major in. There's 2 different types of undeclared people. There's people who genuinely don't know what they want to do, and then there's the people that don't care. They're just there spending people's money. You don't want to be around the second type. You don't want to be around people who don't understand that you want to do stuff, because some people have classes where they can sit down for like 2 hours and then they're ready to party because they're finished all their work, and then here you are with 6 or 7 hours worth of homework to do, and they're looking at you like, does it really take you that long? Like, you need to hurry up so we can go party. And then that's just not that's just not something that you want to have to deal with. So make sure you're surrounding yourself by some good, level-headed, understanding people, so you and your work don't have to suffer. Because as crazy as it sounds, there are people who will push their work all 6 or 7 hours of it aside and go party, and then your friends, they're doing okay, they got A's and B's in their classes, and here you are with a C. So just make sure you surround yourself by good people. Make sure that you have all of your notebooks and binders before you leave for school, or leave to go home if you have homework in that class, because the worst thing that you can do is get to school and realize you left something at home that you need, or get home and realize you had a bunch of homework for a class and it's at school and you can't get to it. So make sure that you have all of that in the morning or the afternoon, as well as making sure you have your computer. I know you're not going to leave your computer at school, so I don't have to worry about that side of it, but make sure that you have it and it's charged in the morning, and that you bring the charger for it and your phone, because you don't want to get to school and your phone and your phone and your laptop die, and you don't have a charger for any of it. And if you are lucky to find someone who has one, they're using it. So make sure you have your stuff with you. Pack your bag before you go to bed, or right when you wake up in the morning. And for after school, make sure that you have everything. If you need to, put a reminder in your phone for it to go off at the end of the day for the classes that you have homework in, so you don't leave that at school. All right. Next, please study. This one and another topic for this episode, I cannot stress enough. Please study. I used to be a student who could not study for a test and do really well on it. And if I study, I failed, which I have proven to be true quite a few times. I didn't fail, but came very close to it if I studied. But I found out college is not the same, unless it's like a pretty easy class. Like, there's not a lot of reading or math or anything, or if you're just that good at stuff like that. But there are some things that you are going to have to put forth a little bit more effort. High school, middle school, same thing. Make sure that you're studying. Don't be that person that's like, oh, you had to study, because I used to be that person, and now got to college and I am not that person anymore. So please make sure that you're studying, going over all the information that the teacher gave you, Googling if you don't completely understand, Quizlet, for practice problems, but make sure that they have answers. Okay. Go through your textbook, Spark Notes. After you've read, do not use Spark Notes or any of those summary websites unless you have read the assignment for stuff like that. So, use your resources, okay? Please study. I promise you it'll pay off in the end. Keep an agenda. Stay organized. You can keep your agenda. I'll leave my... Let's see. I use a digital planner for my agenda. I personally use a digital planner. You guys can use a digital or paper. I actually created a very simple digital planner, and it's selling on Etsy for $14. So I will leave my shop on the blog. So if you guys want to purchase if you want to purchase a digital planner from me, I will have the link to the shop on the blog, so you guys can click that link and go check it out. See if you want to purchase it and use a digital one, or you could use a paper one. There's nothing wrong with the paper one. I used the paper one for like 3 or 4 years, and I loved it. So there's nothing wrong with it. I just wanted to try digital planner and I love it just the same. So it's personal preference. Stay organized, I will wait. I will also leave well, I will also leave my favorite app to keep up with all my schoolwork, my assignments and stuff. I will also leave that in on the blog so you guys can go check that out too. Stay organized. Keep all your papers in one thing. What I did my first year of college and somewhat in high school was I had a folder for every class and a notebook. I could have done all my classes in one notebook and then had a folder for each separate because you want to keep all your papers separate from everything from the different classes so you don't want your bio and your math papers mixed up, so you want separate folders for all your classes, just to keep up with all the papers and stuff like that. Have a filing system that works for you. Just, keep everything separate in a way that best suits you. Because at the end of the day, your teachers aren't going to go look through it. Your parents may or may not, depending on how old you are, going to go look through it. It's all up to you and how you can keep up with stuff. And the final topic for today is the one that I cannot stress enough, just like the studying, is do not procrastinate. This episode and last week's episode are prime examples of procrastination. When I was still on campus, I would record on Saturdays. I got home, started procrastinating, and now here I am, a Tuesday night, recording this episode for my lovely Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes followers. I'm also on YouTube, so if you're listening, for my lovely followers. And I want to give a shout out to Spotify because I checked and I have 31 listeners on there, 31 followers. So thank you, Spotify people. If you're a Spotify person, I love you. And I haven't checked the rest of the sites. So if you're following me on there, I love you all too. But do not procrastinate. Procrastination leads to so many bad things, despite what you may see on social media. It can lead to you. I don't even know where to start. It could lead to you leaving out important things on the assignments. There's a possibility of the work not being as good as it could be. You could completely forget to do the assignment and hope that the teacher accepts it late. So just make time for the episode, that too. Make time for the assignment because even if it's not anymore, even if you sit down for 30 minutes at a time to do it over the span of a week, if you do that, then you've got 2 to 2.5 hours of work done, even though you didn't sit and do it all at one time. So I highly suggest not procrastinating. But that's all that I have for you all today, this week. Just make sure you guys are heading over to Patreon. My lovely Spotify followers, you guys can head over there. There's so many things that you can get with the donation on Patreon. So please go ahead over there. The address is in the description for the episode, and the link is on the About page on the blog. You can head over to the blog. I'll be putting my favorite assignments app and my Etsy store on the blog this week, and probably for the next couple of weeks. So you guys can go download those things. I think that's all of the announcements I have this week. Oh, I do have something in the works coming up within the next couple of weeks. This is for my high school, college, graduate school. If you're in school right now, it's for you because I feel you. So if you're in school right now, I have something big coming up within the next couple of weeks. So you guys need to stay tuned for that announcement. But other than that, that's all I have. Like I said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in this week. If you have any questions about today's topics, want to share an inspiring story, or be featured in our monthly Q&As, send them to me at selfcarebgirl@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to head over to my blog at selfcareblackgirls.wordpress.com to see extra content, pictures, and links that were mentioned in the show. Spread the word. Subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes. It really helps. To help support this podcast, you can send a one-time or monthly donation to patreon.com/selfcareforblackgirls, and you'll receive a special gift. Thanks again for listening, and don't forget to stay beautiful.